Don't click that next button. Don't even think about clicking on a different podcast because That is Effin' Weird is here to bring you all that juicy material on today's episode, which is...
Today's episode, we will be covering cults. Mainly modern mystery school. We actually have an interview that's going to be a part of this show. It's not going to be in the show, but it will be attached in a different episode as like a bonus. So it will come out following this show. So click on that. It actually has Damien, who had done some research in the show. It's going to show you some snippets of the actual interview and everything like that. We'll be talking about that most of the time, but we will be referencing a couple of other cults because I think we all have some in mind that refer to this particular one. But before we do that, we're going to introduce the hosts. I'm Alex.
I'm Cody.
I'm Seth.
And I'm Tristan.
But yeah, we're going to be talking about cults today. One of the ones that someone had reached out to us and told us about was actually the person that we had interviewed, Damien. He had talked about the Modern Mystery School. If you have not heard about this group or this cult, it is it's effing weird. I'll say that much. There's a lot that goes in with it. It's so some things that were brought up during the interview was it is a lot like Scientology. Now, as far as us goes and everything like that, we do have our own thoughts. Ro.
Hi guys. I'm on my way to work.
What? You're going to work?
Yes.
Well, thanks for tuning in real quick. Hey everybody, this is Ro. You know her. Hey Ro. So we're going to be talking a little bit about cults right now.
Are you? Okay.
Yes. So we actually did an interview with somebody, but we're going to do a part 1/part 2 and everything. Real quick, because I know you're going to work. What are your thoughts on cults? Let's just get that.
Well, for people who belong to cults, good for you. But
wait, what? Are you serious? That's what you're saying right now?
No. No, it's Friday. I've lost my mind. But no, I mean, well, I thought about cults as like, I'm just trying to frame a sentence without being rude.
No, yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair.
So, Tristan, I want to hear yours first.
They're bad.
Oh, God.
That's a nice way of putting it. Thank you.
Real quick, Ro, do you know of any cults that are in India right now that are like very popular or ones that are relevant?
What I mean, people who follow certain so-called spiritual leaders, self-proclaimed spiritual leaders, aren't they bordering on cult any which ways? So
That's true.
What even is a cult?
I think
it's a cult when it is known in public as, when things are found by people outside of the cult and they don't really like it. I think the best example of that would be Scientology. Did I say that correctly? Yeah.
Yeah, Scientology. Yeah.
So, I guess, yeah. But I don't think anything bad has ever come out. Like, not really cultish. I was actually hoping to speak about one, which was called as the Anthill. I don't know if you guys know about it. It's a Canadian cult.
Wait, say that one more time. Say that it's a what kind of cult?
No, it's a Canadian cult. I mean, it's from Canada of all places. Anthill.
Oh, Anthill.
Yes.
I thought you said alien cult. I was just like, sign me up.
Well, the cult we're talking about today is also a Canadian cult and an alien cult. So you hit both of those on the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And is this Alex's choice? I mean, obviously, no point in guessing this.
Not necessarily. Like, bro, you missed the intro, but it was mainly the reason how we got onto this cult was someone had reached out to me. We did the interview with them. It's the Modern Mystery School cult or group. I don't know. They don't call themselves a cult, obviously, but yeah, that's who we're gonna be covering.
Hold on. There needs to be a cult that like brazenly calls himself a cult.
Can't you get in trouble for that?
Can you?
That's what's his name? That's the new Joker's
Ray
whole thing.
Liotta. No, not-
They
Jared Leto,
literally
not
called
Ray
him
Liotta. Ray Liotta just died.
Jared Leto. I want to be in Ray Liotta's cult.
Oh, the Jared Leto thing, yeah.
Switching wise guys.
So
But yeah,
You know,
they
for a
called
long
themselves a
time,
cult.
I didn't realize that was a profile picture, and I was like, why is this guy frozen?
oh, you thought Seth was just sitting there?
Oh, hello. I've met you once, but my mic wasn't working. It's nice to meet you
Same here.
verbally.
Well, I was missing you guys, and I was like, let me just hop into this conversation. And well, I have 30 minutes to spare, so
You
why
have
not?
you have 30 minutes to spare?
Yeah, I am in a car. I'm traveling to office, so
Oh, okay.
I've got
Well,
nothing better to do.
that's true. That's true. Okay, well, let's continue on and everything like that. Well, Seth, I think you did the bulk of the actual research for this. Like you that face.
Yes,
just
I did.
said,
Don't worry, I
"Maybe
did."
not."
There's just a lot of pressure suddenly. I see. After that interview, I completely relaxed. But okay, all right, here we go.
So,
Go for it.
yeah, like, so what did you find out as far as like your research? Because I know we talked to the guy and everything like that. He was saying, I can't remember the name of the leader. It's a what? Gundy.
Gundy.
Yeah.
I believe it's pronounced Gundy. Okay.
So he came from Iceland, correct?
I thought he was from Ireland, and then eventually got to
No,
Iceland.
he
what
said
I
he was from
confused about.
Iceland, and the where the Ireland came in was
Okay.
that the people that his sources are people who have left the cult in Ireland, like the Ireland sect.
So he's from Iceland,
Okay.
but he reached people essentially all over the place, really, because he started there, and then it sounded like he went to London and everything like that. And
So
then
he said he
kinda-
went to London and learned the mystery schools there. He was a member of the Golden Dawn, and then apparently he also went and studied in Tibet and learned some of the practices there, and then found his way in Utah, which is very interesting.
See, that's the piece that I don't like. How do you go from like that all the way over to Utah? Is it maybe because it's, I don't know, you can do a lot of stuff over there? Like there's not a lot of, I mean, there's laws, but it's just like a little bit of, you know.
It seemed like
I
a
may
weird
have
place to go for some reason, but he went there and apparently was visited by aliens.
Yeah, that was his trip on his
that's
way up
the
to Idaho.
gist.
But I think the Utah connection is the Mormons, in my opinion. So the Mormons are a very successful cult as well, and that's where they reside. So I'm assuming maybe that's where he got a lot of his thoughts on this practice was through connections there.
Real quick, I want to know what Tristan was laughing at me about. Real quick,
It's like, well, I mean, there's laws there. I mean, it's a normal place with laws and things. It's not.
Wild West.
What the fuck do you think Utah is, man?
It's a wild
Boy.
west. Bang, 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 bang.
In my head, I'm picturing you
Where-
picturing
where-
that
where should we
exact
go?
thing, like just Cowboys, John Wayne, just like in 2022,
Ain't no
just going
lie
around
here.
Utah. I'll tell you what, Utah political commercials are beautiful though, because it's literally just scenery, 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 scenery. White guy, scenery, scenery, scenery. It's the best. I don't know why I'm getting them here, but we get a lot of Utah political ads here.
It's funny. So yeah,
Sorry,
I mean, go
I'm
ahead.
just going off topic. Is Tristan also? I mean, has he also put up his own picture? And is he not moving, or is it me?
No, I'm just
I think it's just you. He's moving.
I can only see Tristan sitting sideways. I can see his side profile. That's it.
that's how he's sitting.
Why aren't you moving, Tristan?
Yeah, Tristan, you got to be more animated. You got to like when you talk, you got to move your hands now.
talk with my hands now. Yeah.
Yes. But I guess like knowing, because what Damien was saying about the cult was that they kind of prey upon, like women and everything like that. It seems like, so maybe the fact that, because like what you were saying, Cody, like as far as the Mormons go, they have what seems to be like, because there's some Mormons, correct me if I'm wrong, that still practice polygamy. And like that is the idea of having multiple, wives and everything like that. Because I think it was Joseph Smith who had that was the teachings that he said that were like on like the scroll or whatever it was like that's how you become, like, I guess either a higher level or closer to God in heaven, was the more wives you have. Yeah, that South Park.
Joseph
yeah, they make.
He was a prophet.
So, but I think that's like maybe it. But like, out of all the places in the United States, though, I mean, there's other places that you can like.
So here's a link to those that it's an unofficial link, but it is whispers about the Mormons were an offshoot of Freemasonry. So the creators of Mormonism were members of Freemasons, and they left and kind of created their own spin-off of it. And the same thing is said for the Golden Dawn. So the Golden Dawn was created from past Masons that were essentially kicked out of Masonry and created their own version of it in their own eyes and their own sections. So it was very interesting the way he said it is they went to England. He went to England, met with teachers of the Golden Dawn, and then went to Utah directly after. And that's kind of where I saw the correlation of is
Okay.
these are essentially mystery schools that claim in ways some, kind of like after education beyond Freemasonry and beyond other already mystical schools that, you have to, there's a initiatory practice and there's, the kind of the same steps and processes that the modern mystery school has is very similar to the Golden Dawn and the way that they do their practices.
I guess I don't know much about the. Honestly, this is the first time I've ever heard of the Golden Dawn. Like
me too. Also, I want to separate that. Are you talking like Greek nationalism Golden Dawn, or like we got a different one going here?
No, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
Okay, thank you. Because all I'm
Crowley.
picturing is fascists, and I'm really confused. So,
do you know much about it, Cody? Like the Golden Dawn.
And that's why
Yeah.
that's why I had some prior things about what was said, is because I've actually kind of dove into this quite deep. But so essentially, 3 members of the Masonic fraternity left and created their own fraternity called the Golden Dawn. It's based off of the Hermetic principles of Hermes Trismegistus, which is Hermes thrice great, which is the also known as the Emerald Tablet of Thoth, or Thoth, however you decide to, pronounce that. So it goes back to ancient Egyptian mystical schools, and that's where the practice is supposedly derived from. And it's just essentially if you look up the Modern Mystery School's website, it is almost a copy paste. Obviously, from what we heard from the interview, there is a bigger cost barrier to entry in the Modern Mystery School. It's also like a mixture of what a actual well, I don't want to say actual because that's debatable, but a mystery school is supposed to be with a MLM mixture.
MLMs are almost cultish. I was about to say.
It's just more about the business, man. They don't hide that fact.
Yeah.
Like, let's just take away the religious aspect and just focus on the fact we want money from you. And they're very blatant about it.
Yeah, in order to get money, you need 10 people to give you money, and then they need 10 people to give them money.
It's a reverse funnel system. Like,
Yeah. And Seth, with some of your research, because you had reached out to me too before the actual interview and everything like that, you had said that this had dated back, like some of these modern mystery schools had dated back all the way back then, essentially, like just.
Yeah. It was. I mean, I just didn't know that they had anything to do with like old esoteric gatherings of thought and philosophy. Like the way I kind of processed what I was watching, it was like, okay, well, rather than like these specific organizations, they were more like gatherings of philosophers and libraries and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, think of like scribes and stuff chatting around and having debates in like the Library of Alexandria, that kind of thing. But they were like these things, and I think that more organized institutions came out of that. But when we got the guy on, one of the things I wanted to ask him was because it just seems, because one of the things that Gundy was claiming on his YouTube channel and stuff was that he was part of these mystery schools that have been this hidden secret for a reason, and they have just now, for thousands of years, and they have just now decided to emerge and reveal themselves to humanity because they decided to help. Now, obviously, to the most people, that's just red flags all over the place. This is just something you say to get sucker people into your organization. But then I looked at some of his interviews, and that was what I was just doing. I was about to send you guys a nice shot of him holding his belly. But other than that, there were just, I don't know, they were fishing around on his YouTube channel. It was just funny because there were certain videos that were clearly like the comment section was blocked. And then, but other ones weren't. It was strange. And then all of a sudden the videos just kind of like ceased. So it was interesting to me that what he was talking about, because it just seems like that kind of guy would still be doing it, but apparently more at a distance now. Which, what was he saying? He's doing movies. I gotta watch his movies. We gotta have like a Gundy movie night.
Yeah, he's now doing like he's producing stuff now. It seems like he's not actually like directing or like acting. He's just like helping produce, which again, like I find is pretty weird too, as like starting this cult and then you kind of
just all need our gateway into the business. This was his stepping stone to get into Hollywood, was cults. He figured all those Hollywood sons of bitches are like in Scientology and shit, so he makes his own. This is the master fucking plan, dude. He makes his own version of Scientology to get into Hollywood.
Do you think you could do it again? Like
he's already there, man. Like you said, he's got more churches than Scientology does.
Yeah,
like he's good, man.
Okay, I know this is way off topic, but how would one start a cult? Like what do you need? Because I feel
one
like
person at a time, bro. That's
drugs.
It.
Actually, Alex, you would have the answer to this because you're so passionate about aliens. You think, what would you do to recruit people?
You would be the most genuine cult leader ever, Alex. I'd follow you. Like
I got 5 members already. But yeah, like what? So it's funny that you guys. It's funny that you say that. Like I have that personality, but it's because the whole the alien thing. Because that's what this guy did. Was that he said, because I'm probably gonna butcher this, but like the what was his name? Gordon? Gundy. All right. Gundy said that like aliens came to him and gave him like the unlock the 24th chromosome DNA type thing. Yes. I don't. But like to me, that's like how do people be like, ooh, you did that? Like I don't know. To me, like I don't feel like people would.
I wouldn't believe you, dude. But I could see you saying that, and I'd want to believe you. I wouldn't believe you, but I know you would believe it so fucking much that I could not, man.
I am just wondering, how is Alex not already in this cult?
What do you think this is? That's what he's trying to start here. That's,
yeah, that is
Right?
effing
he's just
weird.
masquerading it as a podcast,
We
man.
are all
There we
followers of Alex.
Yeah, we're the board. We're gonna be like the council.
Yes, you guys you don't have to pay any fees. You guys are good, but you have to follow all my rules. All right.
No, we're the inner circle that gets all the benefits.
Yes,
Oh,
founding members. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, what would be my attire? We're getting way off, but what would my attire be? Like, what?
I like how you jump immediately to outfits, man. He's got to have a fucking wardrobe for this shit.
I do, because like Cody, you were saying that like what was it? Like he fits the character of like being that called like just the look of him.
Well, he fits like the Viking-esque. He fits
Yeah.
Icelandic, like what you expect, because he's played a part like the Viking part in movies, and he fits it to a T. Like he's just kept that look.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
You
But
should
for
have a
you, I'm
wizard
thinking
hat,
like
dude.
a royal purple fuzzy robe.
Yes. Yes. That's a great. That's perfect.
Would I have a hat? Would I have like a wizard?
It's a wizard
hat?
hat. I'm
Yeah.
very adamant. It has to be possibly with the Mickey Mouse ears. I have not decided yet whether that fits your image, but it's a possibility.
Alex would also have one of his cats in his hand, which he's like, constantly petting.
Cat. I would have a cat in my hand too.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
And a crystal skull for his crystal ball.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
So is it just? Am I just a wizard? Is that what this is?
You're alien wizard.
Oh my gosh! All right,
Alien man witch.
Manwich.
Yeah.
Your nickname is Sloppy Joe.
You will refer to me as Sloppy Joe.
Oh.
only the inner circle can call him Joe.
Everyone wants to meet with a Sloppy Joe.
You're just on like this kind of ethereal throne, and there's all these offerings of hoagies at your feet. There's like, it's kind of like one of those open air tents, but you have a throne, you're elevated a bit with hoagies everywhere. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that is too funny.
Okay, well, if you're gonna start this, you asked it, what do you need? You gotta have a promise. You gotta have something somebody wants.
Okay.
You have to have like some like attainable within the ranks goals. A reward. There has to be like an internal reward system of some kind.
Okay.
Property on Mars.
What was that, Cody?
Property on Mars.
Yeah.
Start
You
fucking
get-
selling plots of land on Mars.
they're doing that with the moon. You could do that with Mars.
I think that's a good point though. Seth was like, you have to have some sort of promise, a reward, and like a goal system, and like that. I think that's it. You promise them something that like no one else can, because like
Yeah.
Cody and I we talked about this in Row. We talked a little bit about this too. Is the person called Teal Swan, which it's a spiritual leader, kind of like what you were saying, Ro, is where she offers spiritual healing that no one else can do. And there's a documentary I think on Hulu still about her, that it goes real deep into it, where she does a completely opposite of what everyone else is telling you to do. So she's offering like that assistance that no one else can provide. And again, kind of like this guy, it cost a lot of money to get this healing. And that's why, to me, she's more of a cult leader, like it's and scammer than anything.
Well, what's the difference between all of those and regular religion?
Ro and I talked about this too. Is like, where's that difference lie? And for me, I think it's the profit piece. Not like a profit as a leader, but like that profit gain where it's something where if you were going to heal somebody, I don't think there should be any sort of like money reward for that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what a tithing is. If you want to talk about profit, the Catholic Church has all of them beat like by a lot.
but here's the thing. It's an offering. It's not a requirement. Where go ahead.
Yes, but it's heavily pushed. Your tithe is this % of what you make. So you can't you can say it's an offering to make it sound better, but it is pushed pretty hard. It's kind of like
a tax. Exactly.
It's kind of like saying like, I'm not telling you need to get this, but if you don't get this, you know what I mean? It's just a different verbiage, a different vernacular.
You could not give me your money and burn in hell, but I mean, that's your choice.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I've heard people say that a lot, but like all the churches I've been exposed to, like I've never like overly given or like even given in certain instances, and no one said anything. And it might be that like, are we talking about mega churches?
Specific churches are worse. So like Mormonism is one of those where you have to give away I think it's like 35 or something. Like it's a stupid percentage of your like income. And the Catholic Church is another one where it's like to be realistically part of the culture, you have to give away a certain percentage. And it's a culture thing. It's you exist with these people in this little club because you all offer the same thing. The problem is when people like profitize on the top of that within like the institution of how the hierarchy is set up. That's where the Catholic Church gets into a lot of bullshit. There's been a lot of wars and revolutions based off that specific problem because they're taxing people and then spending it on whatever the fuck the clergy wants. And that's exactly how a cult is run.
Mm-hmm.
I think growing up, I've just been exposed to churches that are just using the tithe to keep the lights on, like literally. But I can see where mega churches are a completely different story. Or you get into huge denominations. Like, I mean, obviously, like what Cody was saying earlier about the Catholic Church and what was it called when you could pay a certain amount and they would move your loved ones out of purgatory and into what was that called? It was, and they would put boxes on trees on heavily done paths, and you'd put it all in there. But they've been skimming off of people's faith since like ever.
They used to sell bits of pieces of the cross that Jesus died on. They were just selling wood, but
yeah. You know what I think is creepy is where they're like, we have Paul's finger. Have you seen those little glass boxes? The little glass boxes they have of different saints or apostles, like either blood or hair or fingers. I think I don't know if it was Paul or John, but one of them, there's like they have their finger in a little glass case. That's creepy. And have you seen the Catholic Church has their version of there are the Tibetan monks that there's this certain thing they do and it's illegal now, but they prepare their body, and it's not just Tibet, but there's like places all over where they prepare, like the practitioner prepares while they're alive for years for this, and it's self mummification. You guys, so like they will have a certain diet, and they will eat certain things like with really mild amounts of arsenic or different things but they're basically slow boating themselves, slowly embalming themselves while they're alive, while they're wasting themselves. And then in their final stages, they take a bunch of diuretics to flush out all the water. And then they just are, but they're in like a lotus position. And then they just they're so on the hairline of life and death that, their vital signs are just, you can't really tell. And then at some point they pass, but they stay frozen like that and mummify. And it's wild seeing the pictures. But now the practice is illegal in most places. But the Catholic Church has a version of that. It's not that they do it to themselves, but they're called like living saints or something like that. And they keep them in boxes with ornate things on them. And they're clear boxes. And like a priest from the Vatican has to come and see if they're it's called a incorruptible saint. And so if their body isn't undergoing certain stages of decomposition, then it's really rare, but then they get labeled like incorruptible saint. And it's really the most morbid. It's like the West's version of what the monks were doing.
Well, the thing about it, that's why I think it's fascinating just in general. Like if we take away like our just natural ability to kind of like push the shit that we've always known aside, if I were to come to you, or Alex, because he's the cult leader, comes to you and says, so if Alex were to come to you and say, all right, so during our ritual, we're going to give you some things. And this, what you eat is the body of the alien that fell. And what you drink is the blood of the alien that fell. You would feel some type of way about what the fuck's going in your body. Yet that's a standard practice in churches of eating the body of Christ and drinking the blood of Christ. So it's like, where do you draw that line? At what point, like I'm sorry, but that's pretty fucking cultish.
I don't. It is a very weird line. I think it's going to be really hard because it really is, because look at how big Scientology is, and they consider themselves like a religion, but other people call them a cult. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I figured I'd raise my hand since I'm not really supposed to be part of this.
No. Go ahead.
Have you guys heard of the Hole with Scientology?
The Hole.
Yes.
Dude, that's some messed up stuff. That's some like Holocaust shit.
I guess I don't know what
I'll
you guys
fill you in. So basically, in Scientology, if you break their rules, they can kidnap you and like put you in this like camp where they torture you, and it's like made of 2 double wide trailers that are like put side by side, where they cram like hundreds of like flawed Scientologists in there and just like torture them and shit. And there's documentaries where they interview people that have like escaped, and the only reason that they can't like investigate it and shit is because it's like covered by some like amendment or something.
What?
Yeah. The Sea Org is like another version of that as well. They kind of do the same thing, but it's not as drastic as that point. But they'll send you to the Sea Org where you're kind of like stuck on the ship and you're basically just being harassed and beaten back into the right mentality to function again.
That's crazy, man.
We won't have any of that in Sloppy Joe Cult, okay? I don't like calling it Sloppy Joe Cult. We gotta call it something different. It just sounds wet. I don't know.
I always got a bad feeling about Dr. Eric Berg, but I mean, a lot of this makes sense. You know, Dr. Eric Berg, keto guy, YouTube.
Yeah. Please fill me in.
Are you guys aware of the whole his son fiasco that happened on TikTok?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. So anybody that knows who Dr. Eric Berg is, this is some juicy stuff. All right, so yeah, I know. I'm starting to pick up on the juicy thing. Yeah.
Juicy. The cult of Juicy. That's what we're gonna call it.
Juicy. No, just juicy.
Juicy.
But yeah, okay. So if anybody knows who he is, all right, prepare yourself. So his son got on TikTok and started his own account, and then recorded like all this whole thing about how his dad is this huge Scientologist, that 30-something% of the proceeds, if you buy anything from Dr. Eric Berg's keto website or any of his supplements, it like most of it goes to the Church of Scientology. How his dad is like borderline crazy and got his son to, and he started showing pictures of his son, or the son started showing pictures of himself in like, the suit, and he had the certificate, and he's waiting in line to meet such and so, and then he uploaded photos of Dr. Eric Berg and who's the dude now? Him and Tom Cruise ride off together on their bike. What's the good? You know who his name is?
I know his name, but I just assimilate Tom Cruise as the head of Scientology.
Miscavige.
Miscavige.
Yeah.
David Miscavige.
Yeah. So he has like pictures with these people. He has pictures at Scientologist events, and so the first series of videos exposing his dad or whatever, he had all these personal gripes with him that he aired. And then his dad shows up at like 2 a.m, pounding on his door, screaming, and he didn't go away until he threatened to call the cops and everything. So him and his son are now estranged, and they're still doing their thing. He still has his TikTok, and Berg is still talking about like the 3 benefits of zinc. It's just great. So sorry for that side tangent.
That's awesome, actually. I don't want to go too much of a tangent, but I have a personal story that's very similar. So with a friend that his girlfriend, her whole family was in Scientology, and they tried to convert us, and he either had to fully buy in or they couldn't be together anymore. And it's very, very strict, and that's exactly how it is.
Question time. Did he buy in?
For a little bit. He drank the Kool-Aid for a little bit, but then eventually it kind of clicked in that, hey, this is...
Yeah.
I think that you would think the way it is all set up that the majority of people would fall off early on. Like, even if they got people in, like, that's what always blows my mind.
No, dude, they invest heavy into psychological warfare in the beginning phases. Like, if you aren't like aware of a lot of sales tactics, a lot of psychological tactics, like, it is easy to just fully engulf, because they make you feel great. They build you up. They talk about where they can bring you and how you're together as a, like a family, and what they can do for you. And it's all about you, and that ego's getting fed. And you're like, hell yeah, like I'm gonna finally go where I want to go, and blah, 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 blah. And by the way, it's just, $1,500 for this class, but don't worry. It takes 6 weeks, and we're going to get to where you need to be, and then we'll assess you again, and then go from there. Then when you're done with that class, it's $1,500 for the next class, and boom, 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 boom. By the time you're invested into it, by the time you're realizing how shitty it is, you've already invested 10 grand, and you've like kind of got to that precipice where, if you get to the next level, maybe you kind of get to where you're wanting to go. So you're just going to take that leap, and now you're so financially involved. Why not stay?
That's true. I also do think, like, it's just like in, like, just speaking like in cults and everything like that, just like in general, I think it's just like a human like experience that we like may or may not have, but like why the question of like, why are we here as a human being, and that search for like an answer to like why we are here. And I think that like if a group of people sees that and they want members, like that's a great selling point. Like that's like one of the self-help things, like you want answers to life. Well, we have them. And like, I feel like even if we're talking religion, cult, really whatever, there are a lot of groups of people that offer that help and everything like that. Like again, doesn't really matter, but I feel like that is a selling point for a lot of different things. Like but it's understandable. Like everyone wants to know, like, shit, I would love to know, like, why are we here as a human race? Was it an accident? Was it like on purpose? Do we all serve a purpose within the universe? Are we all like links in a chain? Like, what is it? And if someone can offer that, or if someone can kind of give that, assistance, I think that's easy. And kind of like what you were saying, Cody, if it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you'll find out just a little bit more of why you're here, and like, what is that piece? You got them hooked. It's tough, and it's really sad too, because you invest so much money, and it's the what if. Like, what if I just could do a little bit more? Then I can find out, and it's sad. Like when anyone spends like a shit ton of money just to like try to help themselves, I don't know. I always feel bad and everything. So
what's funny is the mentality behind that is the exact same mentality used behind organized gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
It's the same impulse control problem. Because like those machines, like slot machines, they're designed to give you just enough that it makes you think you're winning, but you're not. And then once you get so far invested in a slot machine, you like, oh, it has to ring out eventually. I have to make my money back because I put so much in. But you got these little wins, so you know it's going to pay out eventually.
Yes.
Because statistically it will. But next thing you know, you're 10 grand in the hole.
And that's why when they leave a machine, somebody grabs it, they hit big, and now you go back because you're like, shit, I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why those fucking sports betting things piss me off so much, because that is so fucking predatory. Because it's just like that first one, you get that like, oh, we guarantee you'll get $100 on your first bet kind of shit. Or it's just reeling you in to get you just enough to make you think that it's worth it. But you know, people that don't know how to manage money, like I've met a lot of people that don't know how to manage money, and that they don't see, like when you start throwing a lot of numbers at them, they get really confused because they're not keeping track of what's going on.
And then you add the natural inquisitive nature of humankind. We want to know things. Especially things that we're interested in. So if you're interested, like Alex is saying, like he wants to know where like we all do, but I'm saying like he wants to know where the human race came from. He wants to know what's next. You know, that's a normal want. And if somebody's offering it, the little voice in the back of your head is always that what if this is the one that knows? And then we have to be the one that shuts it down.
Perfect example of that, and I'm guilty of it. And Rain, you met with her too. We all like the psychic that we had the interview with. I can't tell you how much it just kind of like I think about that, and just like the fact that like someone can say that they know something about like your past, future, whatever it is, just like that those little pieces. It's really interesting how that works. So I could like, even as simple as something as like someone like that, I can understand. Now take that and multiply it by, you know, millions or thousands of people that are like out there like doing that self-help thing. It's pretty crazy. It's interesting how this all works and everything like that.
And then add the psychological disorders of no longer meeting people physically, always being online, always being on your phone, that want to be a part of something, and just kind of have that group of somebody that like you feels like they love you, that they're, you know, there for you, and just being the part of that family that is accepting of everything. You add all that together and nobody's going to leave. They're not going to want to.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point too, is even if someone is introverted, even if someone likes to be alone by themselves, they still want that sense of belonging, or like that bit a partner, or like they're a part of something, I guess. Like whether it be like a small group or a large group, whatever it is, I feel like as far as like just as humans, we all kind of crave that in some sort of way, whether it just be like as simple as this podcast, or is something as like, you know, a big group like a cult. I don't know, like the modern mystery school and everything like that. Is kind of getting back online with that too. Is we had when we were doing the interview with Damien, he had said that something that they do is they go help women's shelters, or like, you know, people that are like fresh off, like, you know, might have like drug problems, everything like that, and they do that, like that we can help you type thing. So that's another thing where it's just like you see that, I feel like, in a couple of other places too. I think, didn't someone say like Scientology kind of does that too, where they like will try to do that self-help thing, like we can help you out with this?
Well, that's similar to most of them. I mean, that's like not just, I mean, just cults in general. You're kind of preying on the weak-minded.
Yeah.
People that are having a good life don't join a cult, man. It's always someone with a problem.
Yeah. This made me think, like, I didn't think I knew anybody that was involved in a cult, but there is something I do consider a cult, and I won't say who it's a relative of mine, but he got it's a distant relative, but he got really into the whole Tony Robbins thing, and would like pay money, travel, get his parents involved, walk the embers and go to all the seminars, go skiing with Tony. It was like, what? When I heard all that, I was like, I don't know. I was just like extremely surprised, because I think I'm the same as everybody here. It's like, yeah, the promise of like answers or all of this. Like, of course that's appealing, but like none of us here assume that there's anyone alive that has those answers. Like that's the weird hook that I just don't see. It's like hard for me to picture someone going, oh, like, oh yeah, this guy in like a hemp hoodie has all the answers. Like that's weird.
Have you seen his stuff where he degrades them on like the people that pay like $1,500 just to sit by him on the stage? He like degrades them. He's like, you want to know how good I am at speaking? These people are paying $1,500 just to sit here. Like he literally says that.
I haven't caught those seminars.
Oh my god! I saw it was a
rough.
TikTok clip of that, and I'm like, you've got to be like, how are you not getting up and smacking this dude in the mouth right now?
Yeah, is that? And you're saying that's Robbins?
Yeah, that's Robbins that does that. Like,
he's been around forever though. Like, there's movies that I watched from like the '90s. What was it? Cable Guy. I think
Shallow Hal,
Cable Guy. Yeah, like he's been around forever. And he like, I don't think he's is relevant now, obviously, because there's no infomercials. But I mean,
yeah, he's still relevant. He still has people paying to watch him speak and all that stuff.
But I guess I'm just thinking on the lines of like he's like, okay, so take Shallow Hal. Like he was in the movie Shallow Hal. Like I don't know. I just haven't seen anything as far as like commercials or infomercials, anything for it.
He's in the business scene though, like the how to make money quick and the whole like, what is it, Andrew Tate and what's his name, like Grant Cardone and the Lamborghini guy. What the hell is his name?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, the guy. Is that the guy who's like, I'm recording this in my garage? That guy?
Yes. No. That what is his name?
Tai Lopez.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
So they're all like in that same like space. So they're like that self-help. I'm gonna get you rich quick with all these other forms of income while you pay a whole bunch of money to come and see me speak and you're making me rich. Like that's what the gimmick is.
Yeah.
Damn it. Never mind.
But to that point is definitely a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like okay, so I think we can all agree on this one too, is the fitness industry. I feel like that is very cultish in some ways, where it's like, hey, take this supplement. Like I always see like, and then there's a guy on YouTube who's great. Like I love watching his videos.
I have AG1 in this right now.
Where he talks about like different supplements. Like he'll go through, like someone like an influencer will be selling something and he'll be like, all right, let's take a look at the ingredients. And then he breaks each one down. He's like, well, this doesn't have enough to be effective. Or he's like, this one is like just filler. It doesn't make any sense. He's like, this obviously.
You're talking about Derek?
Yeah, Derek from More Plates, More Dates. Yeah.
From what?
His More Plates, More Dates is Derek. That's
come on. You know you're talking about Derek. Come on.
Yes, definitely talking about Derek.
No,
he's like massive, like he's huge, and he like always in a tank top while he's talking.
Oh,
I totally thought you were setting us up. Okay.
No.
All right. I know the guy you're talking about. He's like smaller in stature, and he always breaks down the ingredients and why this is bad in this area.
I think he's British.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, he's bald. He has glasses. I'll find
okay, never mind. Yeah, I totally thought you were setting us up, and I totally thought you were talking about Derek.
Who's Derek?
So look up More Plates, More Dates.
Yeah. Oh man, the trend stories are the best.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
So Derek essentially created his own supplement company after basically like destroying a lot of the products out there, like why it's bad for you and why this is unnecessary and why this filler is bad. And then he does like stories of like what trend has done to some people, like they tell their stories and stuff like that, and like what, certain supplements actually do. And he's very full disclosure about what he's taken and what he does. And then have you heard, if you're in the fitness like cult area, you've definitely heard of Turkesterone, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
turkesterone and
That's
any
his
kind
big
of
thing.
SARM, any kind of
Yeah.
SARM,
Yeah.
any kind of peptide. Yeah.
Like I know that there's a lot of influencers out there like selling like all these supplements. I don't have any social media personally, so it's like I don't see it. So where I'm getting it is from YouTube, where like those little like snippet clips and everything like that. So what were you gonna say, Seth?
Well, since you asked, it's called selective androgen receptor modulators, and it's really cool. But the problem is that recently there's been some reports on certain ones that are causing like grape size tumors in the liver, and you don't want, like, the problem with any kind of hormone augmentation is you don't want to do it orally. Apparently, orally is just the absolute worst because everything has to convert in your liver. But anyway, this is like so besides the point. I'll just step off now while I'm ahead.
All right, well we'll definitely hash out a workout conspiracy workout episode.
Yeah. We could talk about, yeah. Okay, I'm down.
Okay. All right.
So back to the Modern Mystery School. So they have a they have basically like a 3-headed dragon approach. So Gundy Gunnarsson is who Damien was talking about as like the leader, like the guy who created it. Dave Thor Lanyon is kind of like taken over as like the face. So when you go on the website, he's like the creepy guy with a cane and all, and he's like all over all the marketing material and all of that. And then Hideto Ray Nakagome is I'm assuming the head of like the Japanese side of it. And then like he was saying how they kind of like prey on women. So their like main council is called the Council of 12, and it's 12 highest level initiated women basically help them like cater to everything else.
Interesting. I feel like that happens a lot. And like it makes sense where there's like a council or like there's something where like you have to have like a group of people, because what it was like the Sea Org for Scientology. Teal Swan, I know she had like a group of people. Let's see here, who else?
It was like her inner circle, right? That she called it or something like that.
Yeah. She referred it to as her inner circle, and it was like the most like her like ones that she could trust the most. But here's the thing, though. Here's the weird thing is that I don't know about the. You said what was the Council of 12?
Yep.
I don't know like anything about that, but the inner circle with Teal Swan, she had like a 10-page, 20-page document about what they can and cannot do. And like one of them was like, you cannot have a baby. Like that is yeah, it was just like, wait, what? Like you can't tell someone that they can or cannot have a baby. That's like, to me, like, doesn't that break some sort of law? It has to, right?
Yeah, probably.
Well, some type of discriminatory law.
It has to.
I
But-
mean, just like you can't tell someone what to do with their body. Yeah, I don't know what that would fall under though. Here, at least.
So then I think we're getting closer to like, okay, that is a cult. Like we have defined that. So where does this now separate with like it's no longer a cult?
Well, another interesting factor to this one. So the Council of 12 are separated into East and West. So 2 6-woman groups. The East is head by Gundy's wife, and the West is head by Lanyon's wife.
But isn't he divorced now?
I mean, it could be a new wife. I don't know.
Yeah, true. And I saw that picture that you sent in the chat, Seth. He does look pretty weird with like him adjusting his shirt and everything.
The video is better. I couldn't choose the right frame, but he's just like all over.
Oh, yes. And what was the biggest thing that was like going on with the Modern Mystery School? Like the reason why it's a dangerous cult is because they prey on people. But other than that though, like what are they doing? What are they doing that's like not okay?
So I think. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So I think some of it can be a stretch, and some of it can be assumed of what they're doing wrong.
Mhm.
I think that generally things like this, there's generally skeletons in the closet somewhere with somebody at some point, whether it's to do with the organization or not. It just like, what do you classify as bad? Because like we alluded to in the other interview, a lot of these companies get hit with tax evasion and tax fraud and stuff like that. But you go to 48 of the states of the United States and people are going to, applaud that. So what do you consider bad? What do you consider right? What do you consider wrong? And now the only reason why I kind of put it that vague is we don't know enough about them to know what they do wrong. We can assume, but like if it gets into like what we heard about Scientology, like kidnapping people and torturing, that's where you get to the, okay, this is, fucked. Like there's this needs to be stopped in some way, shape or form. But I think you kind of have to have some proof into those things, in my opinion.
True.
The one thing that I was confused about was like whether or not, however, history will view if they're going into clinics or women's shelters, however that's working, despite the money discrepancies you talked about earlier, Cody. It seems like that would be the only thing that I'm confused on, really. Like if that's what's going on, then like if that's what's going on, that is definitely predatory activity. Like 100% grifting, fraud, whatever you want to call it. And then the other, like I know what you guys are trying to say. It's like there's this line we don't know. It's like when is it illegal? I mean, obviously, it's like not right. But when we drift into the legal category, I have absolutely no idea. It all depends on like that what's going on in those women's shelters, in my opinion. But specifically to that cult.
Yeah, like well, so when talking with Damien, he had said that one of the things that this cult does is that they give money and like they give items like iPads, computers, like whatever to these women that are in need, the ones that are essentially like down on their luck, they need help, they're single, whatever, and then that's a way to get them into the cult and everything like that. And like I don't know if he had said this. I don't know if you guys remember if he had said that they have like members within the women's shelter to like bring them into the actual cult. I don't know if he said that or not.
He did.
Okay. But yeah, I guess it's a tool, and it's not a good one. And one of the things that I had said was that it's you're put in a weird place, whereas like the shelter, you want these people to have like these money, this resources and everything like that. You want to help them, but where you're getting it from is not a good place. So it's like, what do you do?
And he made the comment kind of insinuating that they were essentially grooming young girls to essentially become initiated whether while they were still too young or as they came of age. There wasn't a insinuation of which one that is, but it was kind of brought up.
It's true too.
Has anybody seen the interview with I forget her name? She's the lady that played the wife in King of Queens. She was, I forget her name, but she was deep in Scientology, and when her description of all the stuff, all the nonsense they make them do was like, whoa. Because it's definitely that's it's psychological abuse, different forms. Like they have their reward system, like we got to build, but they also have like their negatives, their scariest of their consequence system, which is like pretty rough.
Leah Remini.
Yeah.
And she this I always bring this up, and because like, okay, so with Scientology, I mean, like they can obviously, like David Miscavige's wife, where is she? They could have done the same thing with her, couldn't they have?
Well, so it kind of goes to the whole, like, we kind of always fall back to this, but it kind of goes to the whole, what's your boy's name? Alien guy, Area 51.
Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar approach. Like, she wasn't high enough to where she knew enough information to where, like, it didn't matter. It was easier to destroy her career in Hollywood
Mhm.
and make her seem crazy, and then just villainize her everywhere. And then now, like, and it worked. I mean, she, like, yeah, the interview's out there, but like, what did it do to Scientology? So
true.
why take the risk to maybe a bigger member that might know her and worry about making her disappear than doing that?
It's true. It's true. Okay, well, I mean, I think we covered a lot with cults and everything like that. Final thoughts, though. I know we covered kind of. It was like a half Scientology, half mystery or modern mystery school.
It's the cult of Sloppy Joes.
/ Sloppy Joe cult or Juicy. So, but yeah, final thoughts on all this stuff.
I think that we can. I think that definitely what should happen is there should be this ongoing chart of the Juicy. Because it's. I mean, if we do that, I mean, that'd be a fun kind of community-oriented project to build a really bulletproof cult and invite people from around the internet to join. And we like we're gonna kind of have a council. It's like good ideas and bad ideas can get voted out.
Are you?
I'm suggesting start another channel on the Discord and a text one, and that is the sole purpose of building an ironclad cult, and the community can help. It's like community driven.
All ideas come to the council. It comes to the inner circle of us, and then we decide what's a good idea and a valid idea for the lore.
Yeah, there you go. And we can have goals. We can have like character goals, like the whole Bob Lazar thing. I almost said Bob Saget, but he's dead.
Yeah. All right. I'll start looking into it. I'll start coming up with like logos, and I'll get my attire ready and everything.
All right. Okay. We need logo submissions because I want to have my hand in this. I want to float a few. I have a few ideas. Yeah. I'm gonna get out my sketchbook tonight.
Yeah. I'm open for whatever. Sloppy Joe approves. Yeah. All right. Hey, if you enjoyed what you just listened to, and we got a lot of things on social media that you can hit up too. Check out some of Rain's stuff. He's our avid ghost hunter. We have an episode with him. Go check him out. He's great too. We have his link and everything like that in the description too. And I always say this, and I hope you remember it because it's our tagline. We don't want stuff that's normal. We want stuff that's effing weird. Go.